Once upon a time, there was a brave courier who walked the Mojave Desert in search of revenge. And today, we walk the same path they did to the city of New Vegas.
Well, I'm out here in the Mojave Desert, where the game Fallout New Vegas takes place. And I'm going to be traveling the path of the Courier from location to location.
Oh, ain't you glad to sing?
First stop, Goodsprings.
So the first thing you notice in Goodsprings is the general store next to the saloon. The only difference being the Pioneer Saloon in real life is, well, called the Pioneer Saloon instead of the Prospector Saloon, which it's called in the game. However, the interior and the exterior are actually pretty similar, aside from a few small differences. Mostly just door placement, and in the game there's a back area that isn't really there in real life, but the main two rooms are there. The coolest part about the real one, though, is that there's this Fallout mural in the corner that's just full of stuff that fans have given them over the years, because Fallout New Vegas has obviously made this place super popular, and I believe this is the third or fourth year in a row that they're hosting an annual Fallout convention thing there, and they're expecting 10,000 people this year. So I don't know how that's going to work considering how small it is.
I'm with my companions here. We're drinking Sunset Sarsaparillas at the Pioneer Inn.
The last time a Cobb entered this place, it didn't go so well. But anyways, on to the general store. The general store in the game's interior is pretty different, as to be expected, but not tremendously so. And obviously the merchandise is different as well. I got myself a nice shirt. Later on in the trip, I managed to pass through Goodsprings again on a bus ride, and I got a good look at the rest of the town, and it's pretty run down aside from a few houses that people are living in. Anyways, time to travel to the next location.
This method of fast travel is brought to you by Priceless, for those who want more.
So we just left the Pioneer Saloon, and I was going to make a joke saying that there was no Easy Pete outside of the saloon or the general store or anything, but turns out he was a real person, and we did pass him. He was pushing a cart, and he walked right past us, and then we talked to the lady working the general store, and she confirmed that's actually Easy Pete. So Easy Pete is a real person that you will potentially likely see if you go to go to Goodsprings and visit the Pioneer Saloon.
After our first stop at Goodsprings, our next stop would be to head down a ways to the little outing known as Primm, which to many gamers is the first interaction you have with the NCR. Now the first thing that catches your eye in both the game and real life is this little resort casino right here that has a roller coaster attached to it. The difference in the game being that it's a wooden roller coaster and not a steel one. But anyways, that one was unfortunately closed, so we went to the casino next door, which is a shame because the other one looked really cool. But anyways, this one was pretty cool too. It had a lot of old slot machines, you know, the kind that you would see in the game. My companions got a couple of cranks in, but unfortunately nobody won, but that's to be expected with these things. But the reason that you see that some of these are Bonnie and Clyde themed is because this actually doubles as a Bonnie and Clyde museum, and right here you can see the car that they were shot to death in. But it's extra cool because this is actually in the game as well. But that's about all that Primm had to offer. Pretty cool spot to visit, but nothing much. Anyways, moving on.
If you're ever thirsty, why not try an ice-cold Nuka-Cola? Thank you, Mr. Handy. Nuka-Cola. Find it at your nearest Red Rocket.
Now before we get to our next landmark, on the way there we passed what is known as Helios 1 in the game, but in reality is just a massive solar farm with this extremely bright tower that you can see for miles. In the game, Helios 1 is also a solar farm and is the main power source for both the Hoover Dam and New Vegas, and is under control by the NCR. Our real next stop, though, was the little town of Nipton, and at this point, we were really just hoping that our car didn't break down because we were in the middle of nowhere, and if you didn't see it, Nipton is that little town over there. Now in the game, Nipton is the first town that you encounter the atrocities committed by Caesar's legion, as the citizens there are disemboweled, beheaded, and crucified. The real Nipton, though, isn't as exciting. It's basically a town of nothing. There's nobody, there's nothing around. It's just a little town in the middle of the desert, except for this weird jellyfish sculpture that's just out there for some reason. We also managed to pass through Searchlight, which in the game is an irradiated town full of ghouls, but in reality is also just a bunch of nothing. The only interesting thing that we saw in Searchlight was this Denny's that was attached to a casino. Now before we move to this next stop, what's New Vegas without some big iron? Our adventure is the town of Nelson, a ghost town in the middle of a valley, in the middle of nowhere. A used-to-be mining town turned into a tourist attraction, and my god, is that view beautiful.
We're at Nelson right now. It is quiet as shit. I've never been somewhere in my life where I literally can't even hear, like, birds, crickets, bugs, nothing. It is just completely silent.
In the game, it's also an ex-mining town, but it feels more like an outpost camp for the NCR and the Legion to squabble over. Ironically, despite not feeling like it does in the game, it has to be the most Fallout-y place that we visited. It totally fit the apocalypse setting. You used to be able to explore willy-nilly free of charge until some rapscallions apparently ruined that, and now you have to pay $1 at this general store, which isn't that bad. $1 per person to explore this place is totally worth it. This little shop full of oddities was fun to browse, but that's just scratching the surface of this place. It was just full of old Americana, abandoned Wild West buildings, covered in old signs, full of broken down vehicles. The place also has some exotic plants and cacti, and the lady at the desk told us explicitly not to touch the cactuses. We knew this, but apparently, specifically men like to touch the cactuses and then they get hurt, so I don't know. Just stay away from cactuses, I suppose. But you can totally see what I mean when I say that this is the most Fallout-y place that we've been to. I mean, just like the Coca-Cola signs and the buildings, and this place is also just full of antique cars, as you can see here. Not just antique cars, but strange cars and buses and commercial vehicles. I mean, look at these things. They look like something that you'd see on the side of the road in a Fallout game. And there go my two companions who are both pilots looking at a crashed plane. I have no idea how all this stuff got here, by the way. Next location. Our next stop was none other than Boulder City, which historically was where the workers for the Hoover Dam lived. It also happens to be one of the only 2 towns in Nevada that prohibits gambling. In the game, it feels like a destroyed city, which actually is the result of the first battle for the Hoover Dam. In reality, it kinda just feels like a long shopping strip, but it's actually quite nice.
It looks like the Legion has captured Boulder City. As you can see, it says American Legion.
We stopped at this little food shack called Mom's Hot Dogs, and it was ran by this absolutely delightful woman, which improved the food tenfold.
She put my name on it.
So I was a little bit disappointed to learn that Novak actually isn't a real place and there isn't a big dinosaur out in the Nevada desert, but this is about as close as we could find, so here you go.
Naturally, the next stop on our adventure happens to be one of the most pivotal locations in all of Fallout New Vegas, the Hoover Dam. This was the first water we've seen the entire trip, and it was getting pretty hot out by this point. We were also making jokes that the dam didn't exist because we weren't seeing it for a while, but alas, we eventually came across it.
So I'm at the Hoover Dam right now. This is where the infamous power struggle between the NCR and the Legion happened not once, but twice. And we're gonna go see it for ourselves.
There weren't any B-29 bombers flying overhead, but the game version and the real version are actually pretty similar. Also, I get pretty bad vertigo when it comes to heights, but man, these views were gorgeous. This is where you enter to fight inside of the Hoover Dam. And this is where you enter to insert the override chip for Mr. House. And here's a view of the dam from the bridge. I don't know how they built this. Now, if you've been paying attention, we've pretty much explored the whole Mojave. But there's one more place that we have to visit.
Welcome to New Vegas!
Las Vegas, the city of lost hopes and crushed dreams.
It's Mr. New Vegas.
The way I would describe it is a giant Times Square if every billboard was a sex ad and every store had a slot machine in it.
Deep in Legion territory.
Despite what you might think, you will lose money here.
So fucking white, that's my outfit. Where did you get that fucking can? Where are you guys from?
We're from Philly.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm your ugly cousin from Pittsburgh. Oh, nice.
Very nice.
The vibe of the Vegas Strip is pretty spot on in the game. A lot of hookers, a lot of gambling, a lot of money, a lot of lights, a lot of drunks, and a lot of security as well. I think I might prefer the game's vision of Vegas over the actual Vegas a bit, just because it has kind of like that vintage feel to it. Though aside from the extremely predatory nature of the city, there's actually a lot of cool and fun things to do. One of those things that I did was I went to the Sphere and I saw the Eagles. Overall, the city was a unique experience that I was glad to see, but I wouldn't go back. There's one more thing that I have left to do.
As I've told you before, you are contractually obligated to deliver the chip. Do your job.
Hey, last time I did this job for you, I got a bullet in my head and lungs full of dirt.
I spent 2 centuries searching for the platinum chip. It's my invention, my property, mine! Now be a good courier and deliver it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to give weapons of mass destruction to somebody who collects snow globes.
What of it? I enjoy them. There's something about a little diorama set inside a glass dome that I find pleasing.
Hey, what's that button do over there?
So we did it. We traveled all the way from Goodsprings to New Vegas, just like the Courier. I don't know how they did it though, because the real version is massive. It's a lot more expansive and less dense than it is in the game. I'm excited to see what they do with it in Fallout Season 2. Oh, and here's my Pit-Boy that I never got to show off.